Hi, I'm Simon with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we're going to show you how to repair your appliance. Are you ready? Remember, anytime you work on your appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we'll show you how to replace the clutch assembly in an LG washer. It's going to be a very easy repair. It should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. For this job, we're going to need a Phillips and a flathead screwdrivers, a couple of chisels, a mallet, a putty knife, 10mm socket wrench, 24mm socket wrench, some rust-busting liquid, a wooden block, a strap with a couple of hooks, and a pipe wrench. When you open up the package, you're going to get a new clutch assembly. The clutch assembly serves as a gearbox with the clutch on the top. It connects the motor rotor to the pulsator and shifts the washer between agitation and spin. The main reason for the clutch assembly to be replaced is loud noises during the operation, caused by corroded bearings. We're going to start with opening the lid. To remove this old pulsator cap, we need to insert the flathead screwdriver into the cutout openings that located are at the end of each side of this triangle at the bottom. So we're going to slide it in, push it in, and lift it slightly. Then we're going to go to this side, press it in, lift it up, and this third one. And now we can remove it. Oops, the first one got locked again. Alright, as you can see, there's 3 tabs I was talking about. We were sliding the screwdriver into this cutout and pressing against the tabs. Now, when we remove the pulsator cap, we need to take out that one screw in the center, which is a 10mm. So I'm going to use this 10mm socket wrench, and I'm going to remove that screw in the center. So after that 10mm screw is removed from the center, the pulsator assembly supposedly will come out easily. But not in my case. I tried every possible trick that I had up my sleeve, including heat gun, the rust buster liquid, and the puller, and it's still there. So I only have one option left. I'm going to use a chisel, and I'm going to cut out that central piece so we can remove that pulsator assembly, and then I can work with this central piece. It will be much easier to remove it. So I'm going to use a chisel and this nice mallet, and I'm going to try to cut out that central piece. Okay, it looks like we've done enough damage, and I can pull it out. There. Now I can take this away. So now I need to clean this leftovers off. It's still sitting on the shaft, so continue beating a living soul out of it. Alright, now I'm gonna clean the splines. So next I'm gonna clean up the mess here. I'm gonna pick up as much as possible by hand, and then I'm gonna vacuum the rest. After extensive use of that chisel and the mallet, we finally get that insert split apart. So a few more notches in that thing, a few more hammerings. Yes! Alright, that would be the first piece. I'll have to use pliers to pull it out. And now I need to continue to get the rest of it off. Alright, that's after about 2 hours of effort, we are now removed the insert, which technically are supposed to come out together with the Pulsator assembly. Now I'm going to take off the washer, and I'm going to squirt some penetrating oil here on that threads here, and I'll give it a few minutes to get through. So now we're going to proceed with removing this nut. We're going to use the pipe wrench and a mallet. I'm going to hold on to the top, and we're going to hammer it to unscrew counterclockwise. And it's off. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to flip up the washer and remove it. We're going to reuse it. We're removing the rear access panel. In order to do that, we need to take out the 4 Phillips screws. So I'm going to use a Phillips screwdriver, and I'm going to take them out. Removing the rear access panel is not strictly necessary, but will allow a little extra light to help you view your work. So I'm going to grab it on both sides, bend it slightly and push it down, and then we can release the top. Then we can pull up the bottom and take out the access panel. So now I'm going to close the lid, and I'm going to put the washer on its front so we can work from underneath. Alright, so we're going to place a support on the floor and put a towel on it so it won't damage the washer. And then we can tilt it and place it on the box here. To remove the rotor, we need to take out this 24mm nut. I'm going to use this ratchet with a head, a 24mm head. And what we're going to do is I'm going to knock this handle hard to lose the nut. And then we can take it off. Continue manually, take off the washer, put it aside, we're going to use it again, and then carefully pull off the rotor. Slide it and shake it side to side. Remember, there's strong magnets inside, so be careful, don't pinch your fingertips. There you go. The stator is attached to the base with 6 10mm bolts. We're going to use a 10mm socket wrench and take them out. I'm going to loosen up all of them, and then I'm going to take 5 of them out. And now the 6th one, I'm going to hold that stator. Carefully remove it. Alright, so I can turn it around slowly, and so I can expose the plugs. Press down at the locking tab and pull the plug out. I'm going to press the side tabs and disconnect the plug. And now we're going to take out this clutch assembly. There's a bunch of 10mm screws that hold it. But first we need to take out this bracket and this motor, and then we're going to release this lever. We're going to start with removing this 10mm screw on the top that holds the bracket. I'm using a 10mm socket wrench. I'm going to remove the bracket, just pulls off. Release that from the harness. Put it aside. Obviously we're going to reuse it. Alright, I'm going to remove this single Phillips screw that holds the ground wire. I'm using a Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to put the harness out of the way. And now we're going to take out the two 10mm bolts here, and we are going to release this clutch motor. Now I'm going to release the motor from the lever. I'm going to turn it inside and release it from this opening. Just let it hang down. It's not going to be on the way. Now we need to remove all those bolts here. Alright, so I'm going to start with removing this bracket. That's 4 bolts, the all 10mm again. And I'm using this socket. And we can take the bracket out. And the rest of the screws continue on. So I'm going to put the washer back on the ground on its feet. We need to lift up the top. I'm going to use the putty knife, and we're going to insert it about 6 inches from the side into the seam. Press it in hard. You're going to lift it up. Then I go to the opposite side, again about 6 inches. Press it in hard. I'm going to slowly lift the top up, and I'm going to attach this holding strap so we can keep it open. And I'm going to open the lid slowly and let it go. So now I'm going to remove the top ring. We'll need to take 8 Phillips screws on the perimeter, and I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to use the Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to take it out. Now we can lift this top ring off. So I'm going to use this wooden block and a hammer, and we're going to try to hammer down that clutch assembly. All right. And now I can remove the inner basket. Grab the inner basket and lift it out of the top. So I'm going to use the vacuum and clean everything from inside the top. So I'm going to remove that strap, lower down the top, carefully close the lid, and I'm going to lock the top. So now we can tilt forward the washer on the support. As you can see, the clutch assembly is out. Now we can easily remove the old clutch assembly. This is the old clutch assembly next to the new one. If you don't have this part, you can get it from appliancepartspros.com. Before installing the new clutch assembly, we need to put some liquid soap on this rubber seal. It will make it much easier to get installed. We're now ready to install that into the other top, but before putting it in, make sure that the seat is clean absolutely. There's nothing there. No foreign objects. Now I'm going to lift up the clutch assembly and place it into the opening. This lever has to be at 9 o'clock. Very important. Take a couple of bolts here, place it in, And I'm going to use the 10mm socket wrench. Tighten them. Don't tighten them up real hard so far. Now we're going to install this mounting bracket. That post goes into this hole here, and this goes into this hole. And we're going to install 4 10mm screws here. You can call them bolts probably, because of the size. Now we can install all the rest of the bolts. So next we're going to insert that clutch motor post into this lever. Turn it, and we are going to install it on the top. We're going to match this opening with this pin and 2 holes for the screws, and we're going to tighten them with the 10mm socket wrench here. So we're going to install this bracket slash shield. I'm going to pull this on the top, the harness. This goes underneath, and we're going to place it on and secure it with this one 10mm screw here, or bolt, which way you like to call it. And next we're going to attach that green ground wire with a Phillips screw. So we're going to install a new stator on first, and then we're going to plug in that 2 plugs. We're going to match the holes, place it on, hold it, and then we're going to secure it with bolts. I'm going to put 3 in first, manually. Then I'm going to use a 10mm head and tighten it. Now I can put the rest of the bolts, and I'm going to use this ratchet. And we're going to tighten them. Alright, now time to connect the 2 plugs on the top. So I'm going to install this one first, and we're going to place the second one in. Alright, so we're going to install the rotor on. Align the splines on the shaft and the spline inside the hub here. So lift it up and place it on the shaft. Turn it slightly, and then we can push it on, going side to side, all the way in. Then the washer goes on, and then this 24mm nut goes on. Turning it clockwise, tighten it as far as it can go. And then we're going to use this 24mm socket wrench, tighten it, and then I'm going to knock on the handle hard to tighten the nut. So I'm going to put the washer back on the ground on its feet, and we're going to remove the box and the towel. And we're going to install the rear access panel. Slide it up first under these 2 tabs on the top, Then we're going to bend a little bit the bottom. Place it in these two slots here. Alright, at this point we can secure that access panel with the 4 Phillips screws. We need to lift up the top. I'm going to use the putty knife, and we're going to insert it about 6 inches from the side into the seam. Press it in hard. I'm going to lift it up. Then I go to the opposite side, again about 6 inches. Press it in hard. So I'm going to lift up the top. Open the lid slowly, carefully. And I'm going to install this the line with the hooks. We're going to put the inner basket in, and I'm going to mount it on the shaft. So next we're going to place the washer on here. Alright, we're going to install the lock nut on. You may want to get a new one if you had a problem with taking it off. I'm going to go as far as possible manually, and then we're going to use heavy machinery here. I'm going to use the pipe wrench to tighten that nut more. At this point, I am going to use this mallet. So we're going to install the top ring back on and match the holes. And we're going to secure it with this 8 Phillips screws. I'm going to place the washer on. And now the pulsator goes on. Now we need to secure it, tighten that 10mm screw. I'm going to use this socket wrench. It was a 10mm head. Alright, and we can put the pulsator cap on. Alright, so we're going to put this 3 posts in the 3 holes and press it down. Then we're going to unhook this strap. Yeah, place the top down, pull it forward, and push it down to lock. Plug the washer in and make sure it runs good. Thank you for being a part of another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. For any of your future appliance repair projects, please check out our other videos available on our site, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram.